Okay guys, I got this little chamber right here loaded up here. This is a dry vac. It's set up so you put the wood in there prior. It's actually under full vacuum right now, so I'm sucking air out of the wood prior to adding the resin. And I can see if I can do this with one hand, but this jug here has got some different colored resin in it I've been kind of experimenting with. But what I do is I open up this valve here. See, it's letting the resin in. It's letting the resin in there. And I haven't lost any vacuums. I'm still at negative vacuum. So this is just another way you can always add resin. When you relieve vacuum, you can always add resin with a dry vac chamber. You can never add resin with the wet vac without taking it off a full vacuum. But with the dry vac chamber, it actually takes the air out of the wood a lot quicker than versus this one here. This was the wet vac, remember? See, now all the air is coming out, and then the wood is actually gone and settled back down onto the bottom of the chamber. So the air is just about out of that one. And see, this one here, it's not bubbling as much as the big one was at first, because we got probably 90% of the air out of there prior to adding the resin. So you just always want to make sure you got enough resin up above your wood, because when you relieve vacuum, it's going to drop. This resin here is probably going to drop down, oh, I'm guessing down to about here after I leave the vacuum, and that's a 2x2 block. It's about 6 inches long. And this one here, these chambers here, these big chambers, you got to make sure you have a lot of resin up above them, because with that many blanks of wood, it's going to suck it up like a sponge. And this, I don't have enough resin in this chamber right now, but just to show you guys, this resin's probably going to drop down to about right here when I relieve the vacuum, and it's all going into the wood. So that's just kind of an indication of what happens when you relieve vacuum. But I'll let this thing run for a little bit more till all that air comes out. But see, we're still pulling good vacuum on both of them. And see, there's the wet chamber now. See, it's not even bubbling no more, or the dry chamber, because we took all the air out of that wood prior to adding the resin. This is basically all I do is with the dry vac, because it saves so much time, and it just speeds up the process, and I think you get a lot better product. But I'll turn the recording back off here for a minute, and then I'll turn it back on when I'm ready to pull stuff out.